reform, that is a topic that you get people's emotions up. You know what I'm saying? It's all of a sudden, because being black sometimes, it hits close to home.
Absolutely.
Because we see the hypocrisy sometimes of how this system works for black people.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people say, well, you know, I'm tuning in. I want to hear about prison reform, but we're gonna talk about it. Let me give you the clinical definition of prison reform. Prison reform is the attempt to improve conditions inside prisons, establish more effective penal systems, and implement alternatives to incarceration. And that's what just gets me all fired up, because where are the alternatives than locking up a 15-year-old kid?
Yeah.
You know, what can we do in order to change the direction of a young man whose mind is not fully developed? I don't care how you are. Mommy used to say, you know, boy, you just don't know what I know. And at 15, you'll never know what I know. I got wisdom up here. I don't have gray hair because I'm dumb. I got gray hair because I'm smart, because I lived a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember back when, you know, in my adolescence, I used to do all kinds of stuff. I mean, if you're listening right now, I mean, think about it to yourself. Have you ever stolen something?
Come on now.
Have you ever, you know, gone somewhere you shouldn't have been? Maybe like broken in somewhere you shouldn't have been, some house or something like that. I remember we used to do that as kids all the time. You go somewhere you shouldn't be. Have you ever, you know, gotten into a fight? Most of anybody, especially y'all that are listening, we've done those things. The only difference is you probably haven't been caught. I wasn't caught.
Absolutely, you weren't
If I'd have
caught.
been caught stealing, my ass could be in the system right now.
Right.
And my life could be totally different than it is now. And I think that's how it is for most people. So to your point, Double Nickel, I think a lot of times what we lack is sympathy for those in the system, because we think, oh, they did the crime, they deserve the time. They shouldn't have messed up, no matter if they're 15, 14. And it's even worse when you're black, because there's this stereotype that we're a menace to society, that we're just, we don't want to work hard or something. We just want stuff given us. And you got to think about it. Everybody's been in that boat. Everybody has done something wrong. You just wasn't.
Oh, their history.
Yeah. Right.
We don't know where they came from. And they make a bad judgment call. You know, when I went to college, and I'll never forget, you know, I played football, I played basketball.
Right.
And one of the first things that you do, you start hooking up with people that I never hooked up with before. And one of the things that you do, me coming from the inner city, I never hung out with white people. The only white people that I used to see come in my neighborhood was the police or a bill chaser. You know what I mean? Somebody that wasn't quite there to bless us. So what happened is I started hooking up with some of these guys, and one of the things that they were doing, they were dining and dashing. They were going to places, eating up a ton of food, ordering steaks and lobster and everything else. And then as soon as the waitress turns her back, we were dashing out of the place. You know what I mean? We were gone, and we were gone.
I've done it a couple of times.
You've done that a couple of times, right? My big old behind, I've always been a lineman and a linebacker. I'm one of the last ones to run out of the building. You know what I'm saying? So what happened is, but what if I got caught? I was there for college. You know, I believe I could, you know, my parents would always bail me out. But those things, they seem so innocent, seem like childish college pranks, but they can turn and change an individual's life. Like you said, we didn't get caught.
Right.
But some of these kids made bonehead mistakes and they got caught.
Absolutely.
Is that there are black prosecutors out there right now knowing that they're sending individuals to prison, and they know all these individuals need is a second chance.
Right.
When you find out the story and the heartbreaking stories of individuals, that the things that they had to do in order to survive. I'm watching an old series called Wired. Some call it the best show, TV show, dramatic show that is ever. It rivals, what's the mafia show? Sopranos. It rivals that. And one of the things that you see is the ghetto of Baltimore. And Michael B. Jordan is in there. And he's taking care of these 5 little boys that don't have mamas there. five boys that didn't have mamas with them, and he became their surrogate parent. And he is feeding. This young man is making sure that they get their food and they get their juice cartons and they get their clothes and things are washed and that you need to do your homework. This young man is taking on this responsibility in the projects of Baltimore. Well, what is the percentage of those 5 young men coming out without any damaging effects mentally because of their being raised in a ravaged place? And then when they get older, when they become a teenager, and you've already said that, Teller, you said they are looked at as being super predators and menaces to society. Absolutely. And the only alternative that you have for them is mass incarceration. Well, that's bullshit. There's things that we can do as Americans to change, to flip the script. And there's things that we can do with individuals that are trapped in social service and foster home and foster care, that we can take our resources and our energy and help some of these people get out of crime's way. Because crime is in the way. If we don't do anything, it's in the way. Hey, you can lock up all the people you want to lock up, and you're still not going to be safe when you go to work.
Well, let me just say this. So what we really have an issue with is we have a mass incarceration of black people. Overwhelmingly. We're only 14% of the population.
13.9.
13.9. Yet 50% of that 13.9 is incarcerated right now.
It's not because, some people say, well, because you guys are criminal and that's why we're violent.
Right.
But there's societal...
They're talking about, when police officers are getting bit and when police officers are being bruised and they're coming in with, torn, twisted ankles and all this stuff like that they're not able to charge these individuals that are doing this with felonies. Well, Kim Foxx's thing is she's wanting to go after the big fish. She is one of the things that she's done is she has said that if you're shoplifting, for instance, you have to steal it has to be at over $1,000 before you can be hit with a felony charge.
Right.
And so a lot of the police officers surrounding don't want this. They want the book thrown at the criminal. But Double Nickel, we know that you can throw the book at the damn criminal all day long. It's not going to stop it. It's the system is broken. It's not working.
Absolutely.
And like you said, like we've been saying, all we doing is sending more and more black people into prison. And we need to look at the root cause of this.
Absolutely.
What is the root cause behind the mother who's writing the hot checks, or behind the person who's trying to steal? What's going on in their lives? Why is the kid joining the gang? What is the problem? Or are these just all derelicts, no goods, menaces to society we need to just lock up? It doesn't make any sense. And so what you and I are saying is that the black prosecutors are taking a stand, and they're going to get challenged heavy, especially by the white community. But they're trying to change
something
things.
Different that we have to do. Well, one of the things that you just said earlier, that $109,000 to harbor a criminal.
One teenager.
For
1 year, $109,000.
$109,000.
That's crazy.
A year.
A year.
What if we invested into prenatal care?
Right.
What if we invested
into teaching programs for these teenagers?
Absolutely.
Right.
What about proper eating,
right,
and reading and books to help individuals who are younger understand what they can do in life, instead of understanding that my lot in life might be to be locked up.
What Kim Foxx is up to, And I don't know personally. I don't know if she's doing things politically. We talked about the Baltimore mayor, how she was doing the book selling stuff and they're trying to get the book deals and using her position for that. And I understand that we got to look at all of our elected officials. We got to pay attention to what they're doing. I get that. Accountability is all good. But let's not kill the reformer. Let's not beat down the reformer. Anytime you have to make change, it's going to hurt a little bit.
Yes, sir.
It's not going to be fun. It's going to be thought of as radical, or it's going to be kind of out there. Martin Luther had to reform the church, and he came and he put his theses on the wall, on the door of the church, and he was called a heretic, and they wanted to take him out. But he knew that the Catholic Church had become corrupt. The justice system that we have currently it is corrupt because it's locking up 50% of our black men. And that is crazy. And it's not because we are inherently evil. That is bullshit. And we've got to change this thing.
See, and what we have, I can hear somebody already. The black prosecutor understands. And when we say black prosecutor, you know, Kamala Harris is a black prosecutor. We understand Eric Holder is a black prosecutor. We understand there's individuals that are attorney generals. They're the top cops of their states and their cities and their counties. And a lot of them are black. And what they're saying is, we're going to make a change. We're not going to use this platform, this sizable platform, only to pad our political ambitions. We're going to use it to help a society that needs help. We need help. There are individuals that are doing great in America that are black. They're doing great. There's strength in the black community. But if we're going to be honest,
tell them the truth, though.
there's some weakness there too that has to be tightened up. That 70% of our households right now don't have fathers in them. That you can't tell me that we're not going to have issues. And I'm not no damn Republican, and I'm not no Jerry Falwell talking all that BS. But it's a truth. It is a truth. Louis Farrakhan said at Nipsey Hussle's thing that we got to stop acting like idiots when it comes to black on black crime. Well, how do we stop that? We start it when they're young, when they're children. We gotta, man, if you eat nothing but McDonald's all your life, you think this is not gonna have an effect on your psyche? That's good. You know what I mean? When you're not getting vegetables and the proper thing that you need, if you're not drinking enough water because your water is tainted, and you don't think it has an effect where our bodies, you know what I mean? Or where our bodies is full of water, we need water to restore. You don't think it has an adverse effect on young individuals? And I hear people out there, well, just pull up your bootstrap and you don't have to be that way. Well, all I'm trying to tell you right now that the young black men and women, they need that $109,000 to help them when they're babies and they're young and they're being read to and they start understanding what some of the social dynamics that they're up against at early ages, so they don't have to resort to rapping or resort to, and I love rapping, resort to dribbling a basketball or doing things or being a drug kingpin, that those are not the ambitions that you can have.